Hi guys, it's so nice to meet you. So I just wanted to schedule this meeting with you guys since I'm going to be your photographer for your upcoming wedding. I just wanted to get to know each other a little better and maybe go over a few of the finer details for the day of the wedding. Great. So, I know we talked a little bit on the phone, but we haven't met in person quite yet. So I just wanted to give you guys a little background information on myself, and then I'll ask you a lot of questions about your big upcoming day. Perfect. So, I know you've already gone ahead and looked at my website and my social media platforms, but I have been a photographer for the past 7 years, and I've specifically been doing wedding photography for 4 of those years. I actually started out with family photography, senior portraits, things like that. And then about 4 years ago, I got into doing regular wedding photography and engagement sessions. Now, I know you went with another photographer for your engagement photos, and I know you mentioned that you were not pleased with those photos. So hopefully I can live up to your expectations of me, and I will do everything I can to make your day perfect. So, day of the wedding, I will actually be taking the photos myself, and I will also have one assistant on site with me. I know we talked on the phone about my pricing, and I will be available for 8 hours worth of shooting that day. Yes, if the wedding ends up lasting a bit longer than planned, what we can do is I'll give you my hourly prices and we can go from there. All of my prices include edited photos, so you should receive around 300 edited photos from the whole entire day. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. It depends on how long the ceremony is going to last for and how many family members will be there. Great. So let's move on to the next section. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my notebook here if you don't mind. And basically, I plan on asking you guys 1,000,000 questions about your big day, but this will actually really help me get to know you a little bit better and know what to expect on the actual wedding day. I'm going to go ahead and tear out one of these sheets of paper here. Hopefully it's not too loud. There we go. Set this back off to the side. And how do you guys spell your first and last names? And what day is the wedding actually going to be held on? Awesome. Let me just check my calendar here real quick, but I'm 100% certain I am available. But just so we're all on the same page. Perfect. I do not have any dates booked out that far in advance, so we're good to go. And where will the wedding be held? Great. Now, do you guys happen to already have a venue booked for this day, or you just know the city that it will be held at? Oh, perfect. So you do have that venue already booked. Great. Could I grab that address from you? Take your time looking it up. That's totally fine. Awesome. And do you know the zip code? Perfect. I actually know right where this venue is located, so this is great. I've been there a few times for weddings in the past, so I'm already a bit familiar with the layout and everything, which will really help me along. Now, day of the wedding, what does your timeline look like? As in, what time will you guys be up starting to get ready? Okay, so perfect, around 10 a.m. And will you guys be getting ready at the venue in separate areas, or will you guys plan on being in two separate locations? Okay, so at venue. Perfect. Yes, and that's why I typically bring a second shooter along with me. I will take most of the main shots of the bride while she's getting ready, and that assistant, that second shooter, will actually be down while the groom is getting ready, taking photos of the groom and the groomsmen. You can typically expect around 25 to 50 shots of the bridal party getting ready. And yes, I actually do have a master list. I make sure to get certain shots at every single wedding. For example, the engagement and the wedding rings. While you guys are getting ready, I always take shots of those. Also, I like to take shots of the bride's shoes, as well as photos of the bride getting zipped up in her dress, hair and makeup done, and then usually also the groom getting his boutonniere pinned on by his mother. Yes, of course, if there are any other photos that you guys want to request that are not on that master list, you have all the time up until the wedding to determine what photos you want, and just let me know and I'll make sure to try and include those in the day of. Great. So just a few more questions. This will help me kind of plan everything out. How many bridesmaids will be in the wedding? Okay, so we have a bit of a bigger bridal party. And then how many groomsmen? 8 groomsmen as well. And will you guys have any flower girls or ring bearers? Just one of each, okay? So, this is a bit of a bigger bridal party, and in order to ensure that we have photos of everyone who's in attendance of the bridal party, we'll probably want to have about an hour. This is for the full bridal party. Yes, and we can split it down where, as the guys are getting ready, we can take photos of the bride with her side of the bridal party, and then vice versa, and then after the ceremony we can get everybody together and stuff like that. Great. Now, do you guys have a wedding planner for the day of the wedding? Okay, you do? And what is their name? Perfect. I've never actually worked with him before, but that's totally fine. Yes, I would say about half of the couples that come in have a wedding planner and half do not. So it's totally normal to have one or not have one. Now, I assume he will be calling the shots day of in regards to timing? Okay, great. Now, this is a bit of a bigger question, and you may not have an answer today, but do you guys plan to do a first look before the ceremony, or are you strictly not wanting to see each other until afterwards, or during the ceremony actually? So we do want that first look. And are you wanting photos of the first look? Most of my couples tend to want photos of the first look, but there is a small percentage that does want to keep it pretty small. Sure. Yes, typically during a first look, I will get about 10 to 25 photos. Great, we can go ahead and do that. Now, for that first look, are you guys wanting to pick out a spot, or do you want me to just get there early and find a really good location? Awesome, thank you. Yes. Perfect. We can make it look beautiful. And typically, the day of the wedding, I do get there earlier before my 8 hours begins. And I'll walk around and do some location shooting, location scouting. But honestly, I've been to this venue several times before, and I know where the good lighting is and everything like that. So I'll make sure we get enough great photos. Perfect. So, another few things that I just want to go through with you guys is, during your reception, what do you guys have going on then? Are there any dances happening? A lot of times people do a bouquet toss, cake cutting, garter throwing, stuff like that. Okay, so you'll have all of those things. Yep, we can just check those all off. Will you guys have anything extra on top of just your typical? Okay, so we plan on having a few toasts during that. That is totally fine. So, a few things that I want you to think about between now and the wedding, and we'll want to get this ironed out maybe about 3 weeks before the wedding actually happens, is we'll need to schedule some time for some individual photos of the bride and groom together without the rest of the bridal party. And it's honestly up to you and how you want your photos to turn out. That will kind of help you determine how much time we'll want to spend. But I would highly recommend at minimum 45 minutes to an hour. Yes, just 45 minutes to an hour. If you want more photos, you would obviously want to spend a bit more time with just the three of us, but if you're fine with, probably 50 to 100 photos, then I would say 45 minutes to an hour is great. Perfect. Yeah, so a lot of times couples, they either take the photos before the ceremony or as soon as the ceremony is over, they allow their guests to either go enjoy a cocktail hour or start eating, and then as the guests are eating or drinking, whatever they choose, they'll go have their photos done. That usually just gets people through the line. People won't actually really be eating necessarily. Some people, like the first people, will be, but a lot of times it's just, only half of the guests have actually eaten dinner, and then you're there to join for the second half of dinner. Yeah, you guys can definitely think about it. You're more than welcome to do it before the ceremony as well. The biggest concern with before the ceremony would just be the fact that your guests may be showing up and may catch a glimpse of you as you're taking your photos, especially if you have any really early stragglers, people coming in pretty soon. So sure, it's just something to think about. Whatever you guys may choose, as long as we know 3 weeks in advance, we're totally fine. Perfect. So I actually have a bit of homework for you guys, and then I'll let you go and get back to your day. I know you're busy with a lot of the other planning. Just to verify, your wedding is April 6th, 2019, and it's here in the city. And it's at the Greenbrier venue, correct? Perfect. And you guys are going to start getting ready at 10 a.m. There are 8 bridesmaids and 8 groomsmen, 1 flower girl, and 1 ring bearer. So, the homework that I'm going to request to you is that you guys actually send me a list of all of the bridesmaids, all of the groomsmen, the flower girl, and the ring bearer. And then any additional people who will be in the wedding. So if you have someone who is doing like a speaking part or coming up to say a prayer, something along those lines, we'll want to include them on that list. Great. And yes, don't worry about writing it down. I'm going to send you guys an email with all of this information on it. The next thing that I will actually be sending you is I have a long list, and I don't have a copy on me, but it's on my computer, so I'll send it. We have a long list of different shots that you guys may want to take the day of the wedding. So I want you to look through that and tell me what shots you guys are wanting, and then add any at the bottom that are not included on the list. Yes, so for example, the list consists of, we'll take a shot of the bride, the groom, and the bride's parents, and then same with the groom and his family. And it goes down, it includes grandparents, but what you'll do is you will just check off all of the shots that you will want beforehand on the wedding day. And then there's a space at the bottom for you to include any additional shots that you may want. This will just help me know who you're wanting individual photos with the day of the wedding. Yes, that's totally fine. As long as I have this just a week in advance, it's a-okay. I do not need it right away. Take your time to plan out those shots. Perfect. Well, it was so nice meeting you guys and getting to talk face to face this time. So if you have any questions, I know you have my phone number and my email. Feel free to contact me about anything you guys may need, okay? Great. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day planning. Goodbye now.